All right, so this is part 2 of the port injection install. And so this video I will show you what you need to remove from your intake manifold and reuse on the port injection manifold. Of course, this video I will not go into detail how to remove this from the vehicle. If that is something that would be a valuable vehicle in your opinion, please reach out to me on my website, germanperformancesolutions.com. I have a contacts page, and you can reach out to me, and I'll think about making a video on how to remove this from the vehicle. But it is almost pretty much a reverse of the install of the port injection, and so if you watch that video first, you can get an idea of how to remove this from the vehicle. But what you would need is a T10. I have this little tiny guy. What you want to do first is remove the 2 screws right here that hold it onto this plastic manifold. They're literally just very coarse screws. If you're like me, the first time I actually removed this from the vehicle, my manifold here was pretty dirty and I did not see the screws, and it took me a really long time to find them, but you just remove them. It's very easy. And you can see they're little screws. And then same thing on this side. Now I am going to switch the orientation of this because this is actually the driver's side and this is the passenger side. This is what it would look like on the vehicle. And so you remove this. One thing to note is when you pull up, it's going to catch here on the plastic and you want to rotate it. Same thing on this side. You're going to rotate it forward. And so then here is your OEM high pressure fuel rail. You will be reusing those, of course, and you will be reusing this. And so I'm going to set this aside and keep them separate, although it's really easy to see which one's which. And then you will go to these tumbler valves. And so the tumbler valves are held on by 2 screws here, very similar screws. I think they're even the same length as the ones that were holding down that bracket. And so you remove those. Let's see. Yep, they're the exact same length as well. So you remove the first one, then you remove the second one. And as soon as I remove it, I'll get another close up so you can see. I'll flip it around, but essentially we remove that one and this one right here. And so then this little encoder can pop off, and actually the entire tumbler valve. Now this is where you really need to be careful because I did break one of these the first time I did it, and you need to reuse these for the kit. But right here, this is connected to this plastic lever. I call it a nipple, and what that does is it rotates and it is actuated by this vacuum pump, or vacuum valve I should say. You want to very carefully, I'm going to set this aside for right now, you want to very carefully try to pop this off. I have in the past broken it, and if you break this valve here, you won't be able to use the port injection, at least not without a check engine light. And so you want to make sure that that does not break off. So you put this back together and you set this one off to the side that has the driver's side components. It is actually very easy to mix these two up, but once you go to install it, it won't line up properly. So you want to make sure that you just keep them separated to the correct size or side. Then you need to remove this actuator here, and you do that essentially by pulling on it. I think last time I used the little screwdriver to get in there, but there we go, and it comes out. Now when you remove this, what we're after is this little green seal. That is reused on the OEM, on the port injection tumbler valve. It essentially just holds everything aligned properly and prevents metal to metal contact. But once you pull this out, all of these valves right here, the tumbler valves, will fall out because this pin or this shaft right here is holding it together. So I'm not going to pull it out all the way because I don't want to deal with that mess. However, you will need to pull this out all the way and grab this green seal. I already have one of the green seals from another set that I have, and so I'm not going to go through that, but you will have to run this with the port injection. So we set this off to the side, and we do the same on this one. I'll flip it over so you guys can actually see it. And then the same as the other side. You want to very gently try to pull this off of the nipple without damaging it. And it does take a lot of force, don't get me wrong, but it needs to be consistent and gentle. And so that goes back together. We'll set that off to the side that has the passenger side, and you will have to also pull this out and get this green seal that's right there. I think one thing that's worth noting, this is not reused right here. So you could break that if need be, if you're running into an issue where this is so carbonized that you have to put a screwdriver in there and really force it out. So that's not that important. That's only important if you want to go back to stock, of course, because if this breaks, then you're going to need to replace it. But in terms of the port injection, the rest of the components that are here will not be needed again. So we can put both the passenger and driver side off, put it in a box to save it somewhere. You can even throw it away if you never want to go back to that. But that's how you disassemble it.